We're all here because we think that art can save the world. And what we're here to talk about is really how creativity is at the heart of every great and amazing thing that happens that has changed the world in the past and that will change the world in the future. We're all part of that amazing story, which is, wow, we have these crazy brains that do amazing things, and sometimes we get a little bit siloed. We're all hungry for change, and we're hungry to be a part of something bigger than ourselves, and we're ready to say, wow, we need to look at how we are in our society and in the world about the value of art and beauty and creativity and how it engages with the rest of everything that we do every day. And then if the vision is that we're going to raise the value of art and creativity in all of our local communities, then every community needs to have this curriculum. They need to know how to teach it, they need to own it, they need to be able to help their community find the connection between art and business and community from their own local perspective. So the challenge that we have is challenge our mental models, imagine a new career for ourselves, imagine a new way of engaging with our communities, because we're all hungry. Our new economy has changed things dramatically for everyone. Artists are not making a living wage, but lots of people aren't making a living wage. It's not just artists. And suddenly there's a commonality and a common understanding of what the problems are that have an intersection that they haven't had before. Communities are struggling to try and figure out how to solve problems by engaging more people in their communities. There's a new economic force at hand, and it's called community and caring. There's a whole new area of economics being studied that is all about the idea that people want to have a community impact. They don't just want to profit financially from their business endeavor. They want community to be engaged. And so there's a whole emerging area of social entrepreneurship and social economy that says, wow, I want to be in business and I have a product that I'm really excited about that I want to tell you about, but I also want to make sure that my product has a positive impact on my next door neighbor and the 25 people on my street in particular, because we have this one problem and I want this to be helping solve that as well. And that is becoming a significant change in our economy, not only in the United States, but internationally. Laws are changing. Regulations are changing that are now allowing for a whole new legal entity when it comes to how we organize ourselves as businesses. They're called B corporations. They're called benefit corporations. Some of them, unfortunately, we're not at the point of having federal legislation that will regulate all of that. So many states have different versions. We have one in Colorado that just got passed a year and a half ago. And there are now companies. Etsy is a great example of one. Patagonia is another example of ones who have literally come out and they say, we are not just about profits and we're going to report to our shareholders, and because we are publicly owned companies, but we're going to report on our community impact. How did we create good, not just financially, but for the communities, people who use our products and who are a part of our mission? So that change sounds really good to those of us who are creative, because part of our often dilemma as creatives, the mental models that we've built up over the decades that we've been alive, says we should be starving, that the business is horrible and evil, the man is bad, and we don't want to work for the man, we want to work for ourselves, and we want to give everything away because we just want to make our art. And suddenly, what we're hearing from the business world is, hey, we kind of agree with that. We're kind of in the same place, only we're a little bit more practical sometimes, like, because we also want to eat. But the truth is that so do we as creatives. We know that we make better art if we are not at the poverty level. We make better art when we have a little bit of stability underneath us. It gives us more capacity to take more risks and to really grow and stretch ourselves as artists and creatives. So if we can find this beautiful place where there's intersection, what an amazing change that makes. There are some really great videos that are starting to tell this story. Some of you may have heard of Shepard Fairey. He's a fairly well-known visual artist, and he's really made a name for himself as a street artist who has made it to the big time. He did an amazing portrait of President Obama that everyone will recognize when you see it. But he's also in deep legal trouble because of his fair use interpretation of how he uses other artists' work for his own.
My talent is more for making a bold, iconic graphic that is provocative.
He's the artist of the moment. The one who created the famous Obama poster. He first gained fame for his street art. Yet his in-your-face style, brimming with political angst, has earned him a one-man museum retrospective at age 39.
Oh, cool.
So you might expect Shepard Fairey to be brash and a bit full of himself, but
you know, the opportunity to share my work with people is what's rewarding, not so much the focus on me. I have so much work in one space, and I've always...
Of course, the Obama portrait is featured prominently, along with a thank you note from President Obama.
Your images have a profound effect on people, whether seen in a gallery or on a stop sign. So he's acknowledging the power of public art, and
he's a little subversive there too. Fairey, who's been arrested some 15 times, got the campaign's permission before making the posters.
I didn't want to be a liability to Obama because I do have a record of being arrested for street art.
It became the image of the campaign. A Time magazine cover, hundreds of thousands of posters, and 4 original collages, including both this one and another just installed at the Smithsonian's National Portrait Gallery. Fairey says he hasn't made money off the Obama image because he plowed profits back into producing more posters. But now he's locked in a legal battle with the Associated Press, which owns the photo on which Fairey's creation is based and wants to be paid.
I think fair use in the way that I've interpreted it, and if you look at pop art over the last 50 years, I think that that reinforces that assertion.
When you look at that image of Obama, you don't see an Associated Press photograph. You see something that is absolutely and distinctively Shepard Fairey.
The museum's director, Jill Medvedow, says Fairey is just doing what many artists have done for years.
I think the key here is the transformation of something from its original form into something absolutely altogether different.
Medvedow says she wanted to stage a show of Fairey's work in part because he expounds on so many artistic traditions, from Soviet realism to Andy Warhol-style multiples.
Like many artists who have come before him, he is playing with some big issues: war and peace, propaganda, public space.
Even Stephen Colbert paid tongue-in-cheek homage to the Andre campaign.
Until I saw these, sometimes I forgot to obey. And then I would be like walking down the street and I go, oh yeah, obey what I'm told to do, you know?
In fact, Fairey says it's all part of his credo: question everything.
I wanted to get people to have to confront the concept of obedience, so I started using the word obey.
And question it?
Yeah, and question it.
Fairey has always challenged authority, often putting his work up clandestinely. But Fairey is also a proud capitalist. He employs 20 people, producing not only fine art, but also album covers, book jackets, and movie posters. His studio just created this new advertising campaign for Saks Fifth Avenue. Married and the father of 2, he dismisses critics who say he has sold out.
I'd be starving or unable to proliferate my work if I didn't have some source of income.
Do you hope that people just say, okay, he was the right artist for his time?
Yeah, I would hope so. I don't think I could hope for anything better than that. I think that'd be pretty great.
The other piece, though, is that the business world really is changing, and there are whole companies like Tom's Shoes who have designed a business model that is make one and sell one and give one away, that says, I have to be a part of making the world a better place in addition to making a product.
My name is Blake Mykoski. I'm the founder and chief shoe giver of Tom's Shoes. Tom's originally started about 5 years ago when I was on a vacation, and I met some volunteers who were helping children get shoes. I wanted to help, but I didn't want to help just once by writing a check or making a donation. Instead, I wanted to create a way to help over and over again. So instead of creating a charity, I started a business, a for-profit company, where every time we sold a pair of shoes, we would give a pair to a child in need around the world, one for one. So no percentages, no formulas, just very simple. You buy a pair of our shoes, we'll give a pair on your behalf to a child somewhere in the world that needs a pair. When you're putting that shoe on a child's foot, you know, it's a really intimate, personal experience that you're sharing with that child. You know, seeing the joy on these kids' faces really touched me. That child will never care about the numbers of shoes we've given away or the success Tom's has had. All they care about is that they're getting a brand new pair of shoes in a loving way. And that is such an awesome experience. Because our customers are so passionate about what they're doing with the purchase of a pair of shoes, they are spreading the word for us. They're making YouTube videos. They're sharing YouTube videos. They're, talking about it on Twitter, Facebook. I mean, just last week we were the #1 trending topic on Twitter in the world. A lot of people have asked, how long it took to come up with that idea, or, gosh, that was really marketing genius. The truth is, for me, that was the easiest way to keep track of it. I wanted to help these kids get shoes, and I didn't want to make it hard to keep track of, so I said, we'll sell a pair, so then we can give a pair.
So, interestingly, this whole shift in the way that we're thinking about things is happening at a time when there are so many opportunities. People are interested in unique, local, handmade items in a way that has been lost in the last couple of decades. So it's an opportunity to really bring back a connection to our local economies in a powerful, meaningful way. And who better to be a part of that conversation than artists and creatives who are starting to change how they see themselves in their community in a positive way. And all of a sudden you have a collaboration and a connection that is powerful and amazing. Who are feeling like we're not creative, unleashing it, because the truth is, even those of us who believe in our souls that we are creative, we get stuck too. And we need those same exercises that remind us how to find a spark of crazy interest that happens by doing an improv exercise, or that happens from doing some free-form drawing, even if we're not a drawer. Those moments really help bring us together and help us find collaboration and connection that we've never seen before. And this is happening in communities all over the country. And what a powerful thing to be a part of, to imagine that we together can actually make this change happen. We can raise the value of art and creativity one person at a time, and suddenly we have a movement of folks who literally don't have to talk about art anymore because we live it every day in every way.